What's up, guys? How are you? Chuck, what's up? Ron, what's going on? Michael, what's up? So I'm here doing work that should have been done, and it wasn't done. So I've got a guy working on the table, and he's super slow. And I literally, like, I have the conversation. I'm like, look, man, there will soon come a day when you come to work and I just decide that I will fucking I'll do your job, because I can do your job in a couple hours that I pay you 8 hours to do. And you talk to him and you look at him and it's literally like, it just like you're speaking a different language. So I'm going to have to make some changes on some things. And we've had I'm sure it really comes down to, it's all my problem, because it's my fucking problem. But I get to a point where I just can't fucking motivate people. I can't, like, I'm like, just fuck it, I'll do it myself. And I'm usually of the belief everything they do is something I don't have to do. But it will come to a point where I'll just fucking be like, fuck it, I'll do something different. Won't be making content. I'll just instead, rather than try to develop the content business and use that as advertising vehicle, I will just instead make this shit myself and stand here and do this. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I walked away from here and there was another 90 minutes. And when I came back, there was like 4 of these. There's 6 of these, 6 of them, I think, done. I just did all of these in 30 minutes. So I'm literally almost to that point. 2 people just decided Monday they weren't coming to work. And again, you know, I'm like, well, everything they do is something I don't have to do. It's something that the rest of us don't. But it gets to the point when you allow that to happen, the others, whether they mentally know it or not, I don't think it's intentional, but they reduce. Every time I finally have enough and I'm like, okay, you don't work here anymore. Fucking you, you're gone. Don't bother fucking coming in. And that's what happened Monday. 2 of them just didn't come in, no notice, no shit. And when you pull the time cards, it's always those people. I understand people have emergencies, right? But every time they call it, like, I don't feel good or this or that, right? I want to go, have you ever come here and I didn't have your paycheck? Have you ever come here to the property and the gates weren't open because I slept in or I didn't feel well, right? My wife had surgery twice. Once on her stomach, they did this procedure inside, like literally inside her, and then she had carpal tunnel surgery. She was to work when she had carpal tunnel surgery. She came in from surgery. I picked her up. She came in here and did payroll. So my employees were all paid. They've never been late. They've never not had fucking payment. Never has a check bounce, right? But it's always the same people. Like this lady just, oh, hey, I forgot to say I'm not coming in Monday. I've got some shit I got to do. When I'm like, Amanda, pull the time cards. I want to know what those hours look like, because I notice a lot of times she's not here and she hasn't said shit to me. She says stuff to the, you know, the head lady out here, the head sewer, and she hadn't worked 30 hours in the 4 weeks. One of those weeks she worked 24 hours. And like, I don't know what's going on. She didn't bother to fuck. She walks past me. I literally say hello to everybody every morning, and I say goodbye every day. And there's ample opportunity. Like, I'm out on the floor and nobody had said, hey, you know, by the way, I got this thing coming on Monday or whatever. And I don't make them put it in writing, and I don't make them bring doctor's excuse. Like, I just, whatever. Like, you're going to work or you're not. But it will get to the point where you don't, and I'm just like, fuck it. I will literally demonstrate. Like, okay, we'll just take 2 weeks off. All of you, like that's the conversation come Friday. Hey, you guys should fucking go look for a job this weekend and decide whether you want this job or not. Because we're just going to take a couple weeks off and I'll reduce my fucking, like I can literally not turn these lights on. The electricity bill here is $3,500 a month. I can just not run the sew floor and I'll be okay. Like I will literally for a couple weeks, the business will have more money for a couple weeks by not having payroll. Like you guys get your shit together. Like I cannot fucking babysit. I just get to a point where I'm like, I don't even need to do this. Like I could just not do this literally for 2 years and I will be okay. That's where I'm at. Like I'm literally here doing shit like these slings. Like every time we do slings, and we do them every week. Hey, these have to be adjusted all the way up so when we hang them on the hook, they all are uniform when I take a photo. Like literally every time. I'm like, repeat that to me. And like today, fucking they're all over the place. Like we pull them, there's threads all over. Like I literally have to go by, and that's what I said. I go, dude, you take off at 5, and I work till 9 redoing half of your shit. Like we're building backpacks right now. There's 5 shoulder pads with foam in them. I put foam in 4 of them. I have all of these still that we have to walk the foam into. So that's what I'll sit here tonight and do. Every one of these caulks that I'm doing right now, every one of them ships in order. Like you just saw me cut off all the pieces. Now I'm going to tie these on here. And this is what this looks like. Like my guy did 6 of these in an hour. This is what this looks like right here. I did all of these in 30 minutes. And you just saw me cut all these fucking pieces off in under a couple of minutes. And now I'm just going to tie this cord on here. But every one of these ships in order. And I don't know about all businesses. Like I've never talked to other business owners that ship product. But every time we send a guy an order, if we ship 200 orders in a day, 75 of those same guys place another order the same day. So, yeah, this is money already in the bank. These are all prepaid. But every time we do it, every time we ship an order, a lot of the customers, they place another order. Like you have a small company and a large company, the manager is told they are the problem. Yeah, unfortunately I am the manager. And my human resources abilities, like Rob Bailey was saying, he's like, hey, so Bob, can you come up to my office at 9 o'clock? We need to sit down and have a talk. Bob sits down like, hey, Bob, you're fucking fired. Like, you don't work here anymore. I've just had enough of your shit, and I just don't I don't need your fucking ass. What I hate about management, it's all baby. It's coddling, right? Like, I'm gonna come out here, and there's a person constantly fucking with her phone, and I literally knock on her, put your fucking phone away. If there's something going on, clock out, go out to your car, and get it handled. But that's always the person, like literally the last person on the property. But every time it's time for a break, somehow she knows it's break time before it's break time. Like, and I'm not like out here looking for it. I just know something's up when I come out here and they're all looking at me. And I'm just to the point where I think I'm gonna do something different. Senior manager, can't fire anyone. It would take me 6 months of performance improvement plan. Yeah, see, that's asinine. That's asinine. Like, I literally, about 50% of what I do through the day, and yes, it makes the company money, but 50% of what I do through the day is so that I can pay employees. Like, I truly believe if I had no employees, that John and Amanda Willis would have more money financially. Because I would cut so much overhead. I would make less shit. It's sad, but phones need to be, they do. And for a long time I was like, hey, go ahead and put your phone on, get your headphones on. But they don't sit here and fucking listen to music anymore. Like there's no music. So it's literally to the point where we're gonna be like, hey, the phones aren't present. And most of them came from places where phones weren't allowed. Like they came from places where when you work there the first 90 days, you were terminated if you miss a single days of work. You were not allowed to be late. Like if you're late, you were written up. Like I gave everybody raises, and a lot of people got multiple raises in the last 2 years. And like they do enough. Like we had people, like I gave them more of a raise than I've ever given before because they increased performance, but then the performance goes to shit. And it's like you literally have to have a hey, you've been doing really good the last 60 days. I've noticed it, and I'm going to give you a raise, and I want you to sign this piece of paper because if your performance goes down, or you miss time, or you don't maintain 40 hours, or you're constantly late, I'm going to go ahead and fucking bump you back down. And not because I legally have to do it, just so that they mentally, it's in their head that they signed that, right? And you're like, John, 60 days. Like, yeah, because every time I want to reward good behavior, it always fucking diminishes. It always goes away. Like we gave all my employees a $1 an hour raise one year. Everybody got when you did that. And it was like fucking, when I did the math on it, it was literally like $120,000 that we paid to give them all a raise. And it didn't get anything. Like it did nothing. Pipe fitter, work with a few young guys, and they are always sick. I literally told, I go, dude, you act like a pothead. You are way too young to be a stoner, but you come in here like, it's literally like, I'll stand over there, and it's not like I'm watching him. I literally stand over there, and the hackles on my neck go up, or I see somebody, and they're kind of like looking at me, and I look out, and it's literally like, these snozberries taste like what the fuck is going on? Like where is your head at? 110 weddings a year. We could book 300 a year. If I had help, we could count on. That's it exactly, Michael. You and I spoke about that last time you were in here. I think we have 20% of our people at work. Just to make up the work, the other 80. Yeah, 10% of your people do 80% of the work. That's literally how it always is. 10% of your people do 80% of the work. And like if you were going to put together a team, right? Like dudes that are performers. Like I got a buddy Tad. You guys have seen him on some of the, that's a performer, right? But he runs a company and he has the same fucking problems that I have. Tad's like, half you are fired. Like, but his dad owns the company, right? So he has to put up with it. But he seems to have a really good crew right now, but he can't fucking get enough people. And the CEO of Samsung is literally trying to hire Tad all the time because Samsung can't get enough people. Like they call Tad. I've been standing there when the CEO calls Tad and asks Tad to troubleshoot or go out and take care of problems because fucking companies in goddamn Nashville that installed these commercial units, they can't fix it. So they call a guy from the fucking middle of nowhere, Camden, and pay him whatever he wants to go to Nashville 90 minutes away to fix something that a grown-ass man can't fix that put the fucking, on literally $1 million jobs. It's fucking insane. It is insane the level at which people, I guess, have been allowed to operate. I've learned the hard way. Reward the good behavior to those who... Yeah, that's it exactly, man. This conversation never gets old. I sent an email this morning with a link to an art. Yeah, empty buddy, I saw it. I intended to read it, and that's what happens. I will not, like, you could be like one of the most important people in my life. If you send me an article, I'm going to reply back, what do you want me to see out of this? Because I'm not going to read it, ever. I'm never going to read it. Like, you send me videos, I might listen to them in the background, but if you send me a video, you better send me a video with what minute you want me to hear and what you want me to see in the video. I know I missed last night because we were doing shirts last night and lost sight of time because, Ron, we don't care, buddy. We don't care. You missed last night. Awesome you're here now. That's awesome that you're working. Keep working. If you want that business to succeed, I'm guessing it's a rather new business because you're talking about it. fucking put your time into it. Take your money, put all your money back into that company. 5 years is the magic number. And right now, especially right now, you are about to see all of your fucking lines of supply. You better plan on them not doubling but tripling. And whatever lines of supply you have, you better have 3 for fucking every line of supply. Like, shit is getting fucking crazy right now for everyone. Everyone. Empty. So what is the article about? Like, type it out. Tell me what you wanted me to see from it. People don't want to work. That's just it. Like, it is insane. Like, I always talk about it. You guys should join HIP Camden, Tennessee. It's a local group here. And I literally don't comment on it because some smartass will say some shit. And I'll go like, oh yeah, motherfucker, I can't touch you. I'll fire every fucking relative you have that works here as a fuck you to you. Like, I literally cannot comment because we're very impoverished and we have a lot of low motivation, low income people. And there's constantly, oh, they raised the price of gas by $1. That's gouging. Motherfucker, all the gas prices just went up, dipshit. If they don't raise the prices, they can't afford to pay the gas that they have to have incoming. Like, you're so fucking stupid. A gas station makes pennies per gallon. They hope that your broke ass comes in there and buys all the fucking bullshit, which is by design, so that it literally, like, think about this. What if the pharmaceutical companies actually owned the gas stations and pushed all the sugar shit so they could sell you insulin? Like, if we're so worried about fucking people, why does insulin cost so much? Why do inhalers cost so much? Why do EpiPens cost so much? Why did the first day Biden was in office remove the fucking price restrictions on those? Because he's owned by the pharmaceutical companies. Why don't employees watch the live feed? Charlie, some of them do. That's the trip, right? That's the trip. Because if you want to know, wouldn't you like to know the inside thinkings of the person who fucking pays you? Like, if you knew that, what your boss was thinking, you would know how to get raises. You would know how to fucking make things more comfortable for yourself. You would know how to be a more valuable person. If only there was a video every night where the dude that fucking pays you told you exactly what he was thinking. But it always comes to, like, we've been in this, this happens every few years where I literally just gut everything. And you know what happens? We do way more with way less. Like, when I fucking finally had enough, and I'm like, and it always comes in threes. It always comes in threes. When I have finally had enough, and I'm like, hey, good news for you, you have today off because you don't fucking work here anymore. So go find a job where you can be fucking a mediocre motherfucker. So get the fuck out the door. Like, literally, we'll go from 12 people, and I'll fire 3 people finally. So we'll be at 9, and then some shit will happen, and we'll have only 6 here, right? Because my car broke down, or ice, and I can't get to work. Yet you see them out at Walmart, right? During business, when they can't come to work, you run into them out in town. And the ones with the shittiest cars, they always get to work. So with 6 people, they'll pile this table up so much that Amanda and I will be here. Like, they will do so much fucking work with half the fucking employees. We'll get twice as much work done in a week, and my payroll is cut by half. NATO versus Russia, mock war games 2019. Yeah, it's all planned. That display the amount of people that would not make it. What if Russia, right now, right? What if Russia sent in the D team, right? They're holding all their good players back. They sent in the D team so that they would get killed. Those are conscripts, right? That is property and terrain that was taken back from Mother Russia, and the people that are there are now Russians, right? But they don't want to go fight. They're sending their prisoners to fight. They're sending the dregs of society, perhaps, to cannon fodder, right? What if it literally is, because if Russia went and just rounded up 1 million people, and said, you're not contributing to society, so boom, 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 and put them in a trench, right? We would have humanitarian issues all over the world. That would be the talk of the town. What if they just, and what if this is by design, right? Remember, Biden went to Russia. So what if that went, hey, I'm going to say this, you say that, I'm going to do this, you do that, and we're going to work out so that we both make more money. Yeah, they literally call us useless eaters. That's what they call us. That's what Bill Gates calls. That's what all the, the elite, we are useless eaters. I'm amazed you feed your employees every day. They should be plenty of you'd be surprised how many don't eat. We fucking eat really well. Like Jeremy right now cooks some shit. When Jeremy cooks some shit and is literally 4 or 5 hours, and he prepped it all at his place the night before. So there's probably another couple hours. When Josh was cooking here, Josh would make food so fucking good. I would go to places that was $300 to go eat there, and I'd be like, this is bullshit. Josh makes fucking lunch every day that's better than this shit. Why would they miss work with that lunch? Cash only Jay, it's a trip, right? Because dudes drive here. Josh is on here right now. Josh can tell you. Josh saw people drive here to come eat here. We actually started talking about how many meals could we make? If we just made 12 extra meals, could we feed 12 extra people? People would come here to eat here. They're lying. They know they're lying. They know I don't know what we're talking about. We're employees of the state. Yeah. So stop participating, right? Start doing things on your own time. So my day started at 4 o'clock this morning. At 4:30-ish, I went out, made a video. I went upstairs. I did 30 minutes of cardio. I went to the gym, and I worked buys, tries, and legs. My legs are fucking smoked. Then I came in here and started working, and I shot video most of that time. Before the day even started, before there was people on the property, I went and took care of animals, did all the farm animal shit. And then I just got busy. Things were so hectic, and just work wasn't happening on the table here. Come to find out, my kid that works on the table has been fucking sexting back and forth with a girl that works here, and her parents busted it out. So her parents come here, and they're like, hey, you got to quit your job or you got to choose the dude, right? Which sucks for the kids, not my fucking problem. My problem is I'm paying these motherfuckers, and they're not performing, right? So the girl's like, I need the job. I want the job. She's 16. He's 16-ish. So her mom comes here and is like, hey boy, you don't have a girlfriend anymore. We took her phone away. She's here to work. They have only been taught, and I asked mom and dad, I know mom and dad, we've known them for years. They're here, her dad's been in some of the videos and shit. And I'm like, do you let them hang out? Do they, because neither one of them have a car. I go, do you go pick him up, or do they see? They're like, no, they only see each other here. I go, well, that makes kind of sense, because we've seen them kind of buddy, and we catch them constantly, they're just staring at each other. So I make them work on this side of the table, and we moved her, so she's right in between two of my really good sewers. So supervision, right? I'm like, look, a month ago, I'm like, look, we can fire this kid, but we have to develop somebody. There has to come a point when we make some new employees. This is on us, right? We know how to do this job. We are going to have to teach some other people how to do it. So they get her, and they're like, yeah, she's doing a lot better. So mom comes in and breaks up with them. Come to find out, she's like, yeah. And I go, the kid's been moving like fucking molasses all day. And they go, yeah. We took her phone, and they were texting back and forth until fucking 4 in the morning. So I went to bed at midnight, 12:30, got up at 4. These motherfuckers never went to bed, came in here at 5, at fucking 8. I don't know how much they slept, but that's what's been going on. So it's just asinine. You have to, like this is, and I told him, I go, look, man, I know you think that I'm yelling at you. I go, you need to ask yourself, like, your dad has a company, right? Why are you here working here and not working for your dad? Like, because dad won't say things to you that I will say to you because it's just the precedence is there, I assume. But I go, I know you think this is difficult. I go, your life is only going to get harder from here on out. Like, we probably should make kids go work at fast food. They're paying $20 an hour. Yeah. For some people, they're paying $20 an hour. For you, they're not paying $20 an hour. Like, you should go work fast food for a couple months just so you have the like. Like, and it's the same, like the people, like the two that didn't show up to work, like always the last year, and the one lady, one of them, like I just gave her a raise, more of a raise than I give fucking people at one time, because she was performing, and then and it'll be like, oh my, this happened, that happened, this happened, okay, but what about the fucking 100 times in the last 90 days that some other shit happened? Like, you better save your emergencies. So if you guys have said anything that I haven't addressed, just repost them. I can't keep. And the shitty thing about YouTube here is I literally have to touch this screen and swipe up to see the comments. I cannot lock YouTube to where I can actually see the comments. I guess I could use my StreamYard account. StreamYard is what we use to do our live videos on Tuesday with, and Jack uses it, and Jaeger uses StreamYard, and what it basically does is it's like a syndication kind of. So your StreamYard account, I can broadcast the live feed to YouTube, Facebook, a few other places. But depending where you comment, I can't see all the comments on there. So literally every one of these, and people, like, they don't understand. Like, you tell them, but they can't fathom it, or they just don't give a shit. And I really, after you have the conversation so many times, and you're like, hey, don't look away from me. Look at me. Look me in the eyes so that I know this is not me yelling at you. This is me telling you some shit that nobody else has fucking taken the time or given a shit enough to tell you, right? I'm telling you, you have the opportunity right now for your boss to tell you the fucking God honest truth, right? And you're going to carry this with you, because no other boss, like, you go to work the fast food job, they'll just be like, hey, you're fired. Like, you're fired. Yes, we need people, but when we keep on people that are doing shitty stuff, it literally infects the other people and they work more shitty. So I'm like, look me in the eyes. And he'll be looking at you, and I'm like, no, for real, don't break fucking eye contact with me, because you're just telling me that what I'm saying, I'm just wasting my words. So I'm taking my time to tell you this. And I'm like, all this stuff right here has to be done, because Cody comes in here in the morning at 6:30 and starts putting all this stuff. Every one of these is an order. These are all these little micro cocks, and half of these orders have like fucking micro rigs on them. They have fucking cop rigs on them. Like, some of these orders are $300, $400, $500 orders, waiting on a $25 trinket, right? So, like here, multicam black red thread micro cock goes with a fucking Typhon cop rig and an H set. Like, that's what these are. So when you piddle around here and don't get this done, Cody comes in here in the morning at 6:30 and starts packing boxes. And when there's not enough boxes packed, my girl that shows up here at 7:30 to 8 o'clock starts shipping, and I'm paying her and she's not shipping. So instead, she's over here doing your job, and we'll have 3 people doing a job that literally one person can do. So I'm literally paying my shipping person not to ship orders. And the problem with that is for every 3 orders we ship, one person puts in another order. So that's payroll coming in. That's how you have to look at that. The employees don't look at it as John stands here from the time we leave at 5:30 to 9 o'clock and does work to make payroll. They look at it as, well, John owns the company, so he makes all this money and he doesn't give a shit of it. That's literally how employees think. It's the difference between a business owner and the employee mindset. And a lot of times it is literally poverty mindset, right? As an employer, and I know Andy Frisella is constantly like, we develop these people, and I want my people to have $1 million homes, and I want them to be able to do all these things. But every now and then he slips up, and he's like, hire as many as you can and fire fast. And you throw 100 at the wall, one bounces off, and it's like, give me some more, right? And that's the persons you put the energy into. But it's fucking constant. It is literally constant. And like all the math and the bills and all the shit, we make a lot more money when we have a lot less people. But I try to scale and I try to constantly grow. And we have spent the last 2 years constricted, and that's why we're locking the website down, because this has been building, and I'm literally just to the point where I can just say, fuck it. I can actually do it now and not have a lot of fucking orders in limbo. Like, I could sit down myself with 1 or 2 people and just knock this shit out. I roll over in bed and it's 4:20. I know you're up starting your day. I think I should just get up. Cash only Jay, buddy. I rolled over at 4, I think it was 4:20 this morning actually. And I literally got up to piss and had a conversation with myself about I'm tired. I should go back to bed. And I was up. Like, I made the video this morning and was still like, man, maybe I should just go back to bed, you know? Like, I fucking talked into another camera and had a whole conversation that'll show up in a video in a few weeks about, it's just that it's bitch voice wins. Like, if you were here for when Lance talked, Lance spoke for about an hour in front of all the people at our event a couple weeks ago, and that's what he talked about, is just the bitch voice, right? And that's why I wanted Lance to present, right? So many people are like, well, I can't do this, or I don't know how to make it work. Lance literally was blown up, right? He was next to a boiler, and it blew him and another dude through a cinder block fucking building in Las Vegas, and it killed the other dude, knocked all Lance's clothes off. They found him about 45 feet away from the building out in a field, and they put him back together. They had to put some mesh in his head and do some other shit, like fix his skull, but they found he had a brain injury. And Lance was reset. Like, Lance lived in a brain rehabilitation center for, I think, like a year. Like, had to learn to read and write. And like, Lance lived with me for a couple of years, and this was years later. And Lance would wake up some mornings and literally be paralyzed. He just couldn't move. So that's what Lance was like. I'm like, will you come present? And he's like, what would I talk about? I go, talk about how you're a business owner, and talk about, like, I need you to tell the story. I know that it's hard. Like, I cry when Lance tells the story. Like, I was in front of all these people and there was tears coming out of my fucking face while I was filming Lance. And I know it's hard, but I need people to hear this, because of what you're doing right now is so far beyond what a lot of people do. And they didn't have any of the fucking trauma that you have had, especially the brain injuries and stuff. So it's pretty amazing to see what Lance is doing now, especially the position that I've seen Lance in a few different instances. Your platform here has brought together people who are now doing things together to make their lives better. Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. Would your business model still work if you paid the piece? No, you can't do the piece, man. We build too much shit, and you don't have a way to piece it out. Like, that always comes from a dude who doesn't understand the industry. So Carhartt does bundles, right? So Carhartt gives you 1,000 pieces. Some of them are 200, but Carhartt has a couple hundred people in there, and they do one thing, right? They don't build this. They literally put this piece of material on a machine with a clamp that just sews this piece on. I have way too many parts. Like, they will literally, the line will build one thing for months. That's why Carhartt has so many factories. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I don't need it to work that way. I'm just having a conversation. You were hearing somebody say some shit, and I would assume that every business has this conversation. I'm just having it out loud, right? I'm saying the quiet part out loud. Went to bed 1, back up at 6:30. Yep, empty, same buddy. I went to bed at 12:30 last night. Maybe a little bit earlier. Maybe a little bit earlier. But I'm seeing progress, right? I literally look in the mirror and I see difference, and I'm seeing it pretty rapidly. And as I do better, like when I get in a position where I am fucking not just, comfort breeds complacency, and when I put myself in uncomfortable positions, I tend to do more, and I don't tolerate mediocrity. Like, dudes want to come here and hang out and talk and shit, and they don't realize I don't hang out. Like, I don't stand still and talk to people. And more I'm learning to just go, hey man, I got 5 minutes. Like, I have shit that I want to do, and the only way to do that is to not do other shit. Like, if you're not paying me, I don't have time to fucking stand and talk to you. How'd I come up with my business model? I didn't know anything about business. I just started doing business 35 years ago and have continued to do business. And then when I started listening to guys, like when I started this, there was no internet. Like, you didn't have access to people, right? You paid, $5,000 and went to a Tony Robbins thing, and he told you some shit, and then sold you some tapes, and it just motivated you. There was nothing actionable other than the mental aspect of it, right? So nowadays, with podcasts and, you kind of have access to people who have run businesses, and guys, and I hear guys literally, and Amanda will hear some shit, and she's like, that motherfucker just said exactly what you said. It's literally like he watched your video or you watched his video, and we've never fucking even heard of each other until the same day. So it obviously works. I mean, there's dudes way more successful than me that are saying the exact same shit I say. How old was I? Probably like 17. But I was an employee, and I was a shitty employee. I get it. Like, I took so much time off to go to gun shows that they finally fired. So what I was doing a delivery route, delivering newspaper. I've done a lot of shit. I've done construction. My first job, I was 13 and a half years old in San Diego, legally working for McDonald's, right? I rode a bus 90 minutes and changed 2 buses to go to work 5 days a week at McDonald's. Like, kids can't even work at fucking 15 now. You can't even get a job. So that's, and I've done a lot of stuff. I've done brick block and masonry. I've done all kinds of shit. I've done hard jobs. So this was easy. But I had a delivery route, making about $3,500 a month, working 4 hours a night. And I would deliver Wall Street Journal, Investors Business Daily, and New York Times. Most of them all to the same houses and offices. And they fired me from that job. And that's a lot of money for 4 hours a night. That's a lot of money, especially back 20 years ago or more. But when they fired me, it forced me to really do this for real. This wasn't just play money anymore. And like the first month, I made way fucking more money. So it forced me to do something that I wouldn't do. And that's like what I was talking about yesterday on the video we did with Nicole and Humble Mechanic. I'm like, lot of dudes are like, well, I don't want to quit my job. I got medical. You're gonna go nowhere. I get it. That's okay. That's your choice. That doesn't affect me. But like we're at that point when you ask me a question and I tell you what you should do and then you start telling me why you can't do that, like we're done. Because I have people that are asking questions that will execute, right? Dan Pena, if you don't know who Dan Pena is, the $4 billion man or whatever. Dan Pena has a castle in Scotland, and it costs $25,000, and you go there for 5 days, and it's like team building and business and networking and stuff. It's 25 grand. He used to give these courses to people that couldn't afford to come, and he had about a 50% success ratio, right? So that's not very good. 50% execute, but then you have these polar opposites. So he said, I don't give any courses away. Everything's 25 grand because the people that will come up with 25 grand, they obviously, number one, have money, or they will do what it takes to get the money because they know this will be life changing, and those people will execute. They will beg, they will borrow, or they will fucking steal. They will commit crimes to get the money to come here because this is important enough. And he's like, that's why I have a 100% success ratio, because people are invested in not failing. Started working 14 sporting goods store, right on. Philip, what's up? Any news on the bio? Guys, I don't have any news. Like, and what you need to realize is, any news that you heard it the same place every other dipshit heard it, right? I don't have a CIA guy sending me fucking, pigeons with little notes and shit. All I know is what you know. When the Russians sent their first planes in and dropped bombs, they dropped bombs on a lot of buildings, and when you put up these maps of overlays where the U.S. funded biolabs in Ukraine were, miraculously, many of the buildings that were hit and destroyed were those laboratories. Why is nobody reporting this? It's only secondary. Like, you're seeing it from Russia Times, you're seeing it from other news sources, not our news sources. So now you have the White House literally coming out and going, uh-oh, Russia is trying to take over these biolabs, and we think they're trying to steal biological warfare agents. You don't think Russia already has? Like, Russia has huge biological agents, and Russia is really good at hurting people badly. And they have whole entire islands. Like, Russia literally, like, tested anthrax on entire fucking villages of millions of, like, towns of millions of, like, they built towns, populated them, and then used biological agents as a test study, right? Do you think Russia needs to go steal some shit from Ukraine? More likely, my feeling is, Russia's going to take over these labs and have proof that the United States started the COVID-19 shit. That's what my thought is. So, we better go and stop this, and they're going to rally the people, because that's what this is all about. It's all the war cry. They're polling people, and they are getting people conditioned to, they're already calling it World War III, they're already calling it a war, and they're going to get you involved in it. And they're just trying to get acceptance. And if you look at incomes, the more income people make, the more they are okay with sending our kids to war. That's just because people that are busy working, they don't give a fuck what anybody's doing, right? They're not, it's the middle class. Government secretly contaminated Americans in the past. Of course we did. In 2006, the United States Navy flew A-6 intruders over San Francisco and released live pneumonia spores. That's crazy, John. You can't possibly know that. Google that shit. The CIA introduced crack into Los Angeles. They admitted it. Fauci knew about AIDS and kept it quiet for 4 years. Look it up, guys. Look it up.
Everyone in business or international business is concerned owns a piece of Sniffy Joe. Yeah, anybody with real money. I had a good chat with Lance's girlfriend. We had similar experience in dealing with traumatized significant others. Dawn, right on. Denial of these labs by the government and the media has become deafening. I'm an engine captain for the Forest Service, the real people that fight fires and put them out. My salary is $60,000 compared to $150,000 for a captain in county, but I love it. Yeah, that's brutal work too, man. That is brutal work. My sister worked on some wildland crews. My sister was in one of the crews in San Diego County. I believe it was in Ramona. It was on one of the big fires, maybe 10 years ago, maybe more. And she was on the engine crew when the fire flashed across the. They all had to go into fire shelters and shit. They lost a few people in that fire. I clean toilets at 10 at a movie theater, El Toro Marine Base, man. Right on. 19th was at El Toro for a while. Taught me how to work. Get the blimp hangers are fucking awesome. Atomic test in the 50s. I mean, we gave irradiated milk to school kids. Like the CIA did that. They admitted to it. Have you ever heard of the UC Davis pressure test? UC Davis, UC California, UC Davis. Look up UC Davis pressure test. It's not what you're thinking it is. They took babies as they were born, still attached to the umbilical cord. The baby comes out of the vagina, still has the umbilical cord. They take the baby and they swing it around in circles, right? They retarded fucking dozens and dozens of kids, like brain damaged, and killed hundreds of kids doing this. Look that up. Look that up. Most of you, this isn't some shit that happened 100 years ago. This happened while most of you were alive. Heard they put crack in the hood for the gangs to pay for war black. Of course they did. Of course they did. Why? Have you not heard the stories about all the poppy fields in Afghanistan? Have you not heard about all the poppy fields? The army comes in. The army puts perimeters around the poppy fields. In the middle of the night, they harvest the poppy fields, they pull the fucking guards out, and the poppies disappear and nobody knows where it goes. This is, like, literally this is all about getting people to argue with everybody. When you see a, welcome to Joe Biden's world, right? This is Joe Biden's fault, right? Trump is the only president that passed any shit that made my financial situation better, and we paid my employees more money, and my cost of things went down under Trump. With that said, Trump said, when I become president, I will put you in prison. Trump didn't put any of those people in prison. Trump didn't change anything. Trump didn't do anything that fucking stuck. He could have fucking really made changes, and he didn't. And if you're still stuck on the this is the Democrats and I'm a Republican or vice versa, that's just diversion. That is to get you divided, right? It was blacks and whites. It was upper class, lower class. It was blue collar, white collar. We gotta hate the bankers. It is literally just division. Tired of this war dominating the media, another scam to blame. Right. So you know what your answer is, Angel? Stop fucking watching it. Imagine what if all this shit, right? Why did they change the cycle rate at which you listen to broadcasted music? Why did they change the kilohertz? It wasn't because of electricity. Look that up. It literally dumbs you down. Like, you hear how people vibrate on a different level, right? It's energy, right? You see a bunch of people do a bunch of weird shit, like all the gurus. They want you to and chant and do all this stupid shit and rub crystals, right? What if it's literally as simple as mindset? If you want to have something, you need to focus, and you need to want things. I know everybody tells you that you have been lied to convince you of things that make you stay a low performance person, because you will be an employee and they tax employees. If you are a business owner, Your goal at the end of the year is to have zero money. You don't own things, the corporation owns things, and then it's taxed in a different rate. 88,000 pages of IRS code. 8,000 is what you have to do. 80,000 is how not to do it. So if they can just turn that shit off, what if all of it, they are already programming people. They can already program you. They know when you masturbate because of your phone and your watch. They know when you're having sex with a person. They know when you have sex with yourself, and they can make you do things based on the things they show you. You are like, everybody fucking knows that. Why is that so hard to understand? So what if all of this, because where are you getting it from? You're not turning on CNN, most of you. You're not looking at the TV. It's this. You turn this on to see something you want to see, but you get stuck on the shit that they want you to see. So what if it literally is just fight or flight, right? It's the fight or flight. It's the adrenaline dump. It's the fear. Raises your heart rate. You don't sleep at night. You perform lower because of it. You're not clear of thought. What if it literally is all to dumb you down? To put a further distance between them and us. Do you think the Amish have changed anything in life that they're doing? They're making a lot more money right now. Yeah, smart devices collect data. Absolutely, they do. They know everything. They know when you take a shit. They know whether you're pissing or shitting. They literally know everything. Based on things you do, Target sent bundle coupons for pregnancy items the father received, and when they got down to it and it all went to court, it got busted out that they knew from the algorithms on the phone that the daughter was pregnant. The daughters didn't even know they were pregnant. We're talking 13-year-old girls. Didn't even know they were pregnant. The phone algorithms sold the data. Target sent out fucking coupons for pregnancy shit. Pregnancy clothing, baby diapers, bottles. And that was 10 years ago. Fluoridated water. Look that up. Look up what fluoride does. We exported fluoride out of the United States for fucking decades. Alcoa, an aluminum company, fluoride is a byproduct. It is a toxic byproduct left over. The fluoride they put in your water, listen to me again. The fluoride that they put in your water is not the fluoride that your dentist puts on your teeth. They're not arresting anybody. When somebody has dirt on them, they kill them. What happened to Ghislaine Maxwell? Where's she at? They literally could not testify on 80% of the people on the list. Couldn't be discussed. Biolabs in Ukraine were no. Of course they're not. Of course they're not. Like, you're having you want to have a conversation, but you're talking to people I get stuck in the conversation too, right? Guys come in here and I give them a data dump on whatever I know, and how do I know it? I know it because some other asshole I don't know fucking said it, right? Angel, if you don't have fucking $100,000 in your bank account right now, if you can't literally just tomorrow decide you're not going to work for fucking 6 months and go do whatever you want to do, you have no time to give a shit what's happening in Ukraine. If we're concerned about it, and I'm moderately concerned, because if it's not, like, I don't care, right? We stopped, like, I never fucking put a mask on. I don't have anybody vaccinated. We never shut down. We didn't do shit. So the population has spent the last 2 years under all the COVID restrictions. They lost control of it, and they need something to control people's mind, and it is now war. It's the same, as far as I'm concerned, it's the same thing. So you have an opportunity. Like, are you going to go to Ukraine? I know 3 people going to Ukraine. They leave Tuesday. People I actually know. Like, shut the fuck up and go fight, or shut the fuck. And I'm not saying this to you, Angel. Shut the fuck up and use your time to do something. It's all constant distraction. That's exactly what and that's what I've been saying for the last year, right? Because I've spent time, I have invested, I have allowed this to redirect me. I believe that anybody, the docu-series called Chernobyl is very, yeah, I have the DVDs, the HBO series. I have allowed, okay, I make videos that you guys watch, or I make, the reality is there's 85 of you on here and only 77 thumbs up. This is a perfect example. I make videos for guys to watch. Most people don't watch my videos. Hopefully they motivate somebody to do something in life that makes them a little bit better. I make videos, I make those morning videos because that shit I fucking need to hear. I don't give a, like, fuck all you guys who can't fucking hit the thumbs. This is a perfect example. It's like when Bear does a video, right? And people are like, you're just pushing your medical stuff. He has a medical company, guys. Yes, he's pushing, he makes all these fucking videos that everybody watches. And as soon as he says something about a medical kit, the viewers just fucking drop in half. I open my compound. I don't take a dime out of the Self-Reliance Festival. I don't get anything paid. I put a lot of my money into things at the Self-Reliance Festival. I don't, like, when I say I don't take a dime, I mean I don't fucking get a penny. I shut my business down. I pay all my employees and send them home that day. I open my entire property. The only way I make any money from that is that people are here, buy some of my product. And not much of it. Like, we don't make much money. I have not made any money in gear sales from the Self-Reliance Festival. I made way more doing parties that were just SOE customers. So that's the thing, right? Look at right now, there's 92 people on here and there's only 87 thumbs up. So my point is, I make videos for myself, to hold myself accountable, right? So if you watch my videos for the last 2 years, I feel that in the last 2 years, I moved at about 40% of my capacity that I was capable of. I think I have a good amount to show for it, but I should have double that amount, at least double. If I doubled the amount of what I believe I did, I would have only be at 80%. Chef, I know, Chef D, I know you do, buddy. I know you do. And there's like 93 on, 92 thumbs up, right? So it's even right now. Half of the people that left those comments, that left that thumb, and it's just a thumbs up, half of the people are not on here. When I end the video, I get a view status of how many people were on, how many actual minutes combined were watched, and then what the average view time is. The average view time on these videos here on YouTube for my live feed is 5 minutes. That means that over half, if not more than half of the people on the live feed right now didn't hit the thumbs up. So with all those people coming and going, that thumbs up number should be 5 times what the current view count is at any time. The Self-Reliance Festival. Yeah, I think because, do you know why we're doing the Self-Reliance Festival? What spurred that? We had, like, when everybody was closed down, everybody was still masked, people were scared to death, businesses were closed. We had an SOE party. We had 250 people show up, and I didn't invite anybody. I just said it here and there. Like, we didn't even make a thing, hey, Self-Reliance, like SOE party on the compound like we did in the years past. We didn't do any of that shit. 250 people showed up here. And we did them alumni weekend. And to keep in mind, there's 120 people at alumni weekend. And when we do the parties, I have guys come here from Australia, Germany, Canada, New Zealand, just to name a few, right? Guys literally get on airplanes from other countries. A guy comes here from Japan all the time. And dude's like, oh yeah, you know, California's too far of a drive. I don't give a fuck whether you come or not. Stop inserting yourself into my conversation with negative talk, right? California's too far. Your excuse doesn't mean shit when there's dudes that come from other countries to get here. So we did this thing, 250 people, and as soon as people got here, every time a new group of people walked in the door, they're like, hey mate, I've been watching your videos, can I see your aquaponics? Hey, can I see your chickens? Can I see your rats? So people were hungry for it. So we did 2 of these parties over the 2 years, and it was always, I'm like, I am fucking exhausted. And Amanda's like, what's up? I'm like, I have literally been taking groups of 12 or 20 people and walking full speed for an hour to give them everything within a block of time, right? So Nicole had been, you know, she's very involved in Jack Spirko's thing, and she does a lot of these. And I said, hey, I think we should do one of these. And that's how that came to be. Like, Nicole had the know-how. She'd been doing workshops, and we'd been to her place, and I'm speaking at her thing in August, I think. April, May, June, July, August. June, July, August. I don't know when I'm talking, but and there's a couple times she's asked me, and I've backed out. I've just had other shit to do, didn't know what I was going to talk on, but I owe her. Like, I'm going to be at her next event. I don't know when it is. Could be fucking this weekend for all I know, but I'll show up and I'll perform. When we would go to Blade Show, guys would be like, especially like new guys that work for us and stuff, and friends would come out to Blade Show. They're like, what should I expect? I go, expect to not be able to get in our booth because there's so many people wanting to come in the booth that you won't be able to. Like, when I walk away, it takes me about 3 minutes to walk to the bathroom. I piss, I'm in the bathroom for about 5 minutes. I come back and it takes me 30 minutes to get back in my own booth. And when we're like at breakfast, I'm like, okay, get ready to perform. They're like, what do you mean? I go, this is a performance. This is your peak right here. You're going to perform. We are the lead singers. We are the band that they are here to see. And I'm going to stand and I'm going to have a conversation with every single person that comes in. I'm going to look them in the eye, shake their hands, and we're going to talk about whatever they want to talk about for as long as they want to talk. And that's what we did. And we are fucking exhausted when we come back from a trade show. And then we rent out almost the entire hotel floor, and that's just customers that have come in to see us at the show. And then we all go to dinner, and I typically would buy dinner for between 40, 50, 60 people. We would use Ruth Chris, and we'd use their whole patio in the lobby of the hotel, and we would bring everybody to dinner. All my customers that came into town for Blade Show, we would have a dinner one night. And a lot of times we would hang out till 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and then have to be back at the show at 8 o'clock in the morning and perform the next day. Still blows my mind how easy it was for the government of the world to get people to get in line. Yeah, Maine, absolutely. I drove in January 2021 from California. Appreciated you taking time to show me, but it's always highlight of my trip. Right on, man. Watched James live feed tonight. He said he bought a one-way ticket to Poland and then laughs about it. I must be missing something. I don't know. James, there's a few people going with James. He came in, picked up some gear this morning. I built a custom piece for him. Haven't been watching at night because I've been doing shit. Good, Glock. That's fucking perfect, dude. I would rather you, like, what are you coming here? What does that get you, right? What does it add me that you show up and you're like, hey, right on, right? I would rather you do things that better yourself. I would rather anybody who can't afford to buy my shit, I don't care. Somebody will buy my shit that's not you. I don't care. I would rather you take your money. If you are not in a position right now, literally, to do whatever you fucking want to do, don't buy my shit. Take your money and figure out how to make more money with your money. It's just the self-gratification thing. If I'd have spent my first 5 years and put all my money into my business, if you can do that for 5 years, everything goes into your business. Sleep on the fucking floor, you don't get a girlfriend for 5 years, whatever it is, right? You don't go out to eat. You don't buy a jet. You don't do none of the shit. If you can put all your money into your business for 5 years, most businesses fail the first year. If you can put all your money into your business for 5 years, it will literally be the difference between you making hundreds of thousands a year and making millions a year. Literally. Brian, why wouldn't James come to see me, man? I watched James live feed tonight. Like James is like, when James comes here, I don't announce it and go, "Hey, James is here," right? And when I go talk to James, like, and I send James messages every fucking day. Like, we talk in some manner at least every other day. Every single video. Like, what you need to remember is James said, "Hey, if you're gonna come talk to me, don't talk to me about dying." So I'm not gonna fucking talk about it either, just because James isn't on this live feed. James asked fucking one thing of people. Like, everybody wants to talk about James now that James is going to Ukraine. James does a video all the time. Like, every single day James puts a video up. And if you look at the people that mention James right now, they're mentioning James because of his, I might have ALS video, right? When's the last time anybody asked me about James before that? Marine AR, sacrifice and discipline. This is Danny, I assume, Glock Almighty, you're the UPS dude, right? I know exactly who you are, I think. Or are you Danny Dean? Talking about sacrifice. They fly to Poland. So glad James came to see you. Marine AR. Still blows my mind how easy it was for the government. Yep. Because those are sheep. Those are sheep. Those are the people. Here's an example. People have free time, and we have given people who have no business having any input in fucking anything in the world to give their opinion as though it makes a bit of difference, right? Literally, people are allowed to live today. They steal money from people that work and give it to people who won't work. I don't have a problem with helping people, but that was by choice, right? If you had done something of value to be helped, it was up to church, not state. Church, family took care of people. We keep people alive today that are not willing to keep themselves alive. These motherfuckers don't come home and the electricity's off. But a working man who business trade changes a little bit, his power will be turned off when he doesn't pay the bill. But your welfare people, their power never gets turned off. You guys should all join this Hip Camden, Tennessee page. There is always a fucking, if there's 100 posts a day, 75 of them are motherfuckers begging for free shit or complaining about shit and voicing their opinion. There's an old building here in town that was kind of a strip mall. There's like 4 buildings there. Somebody bought the building that used to be like a cash saver, like grocery store or something. And everybody's like, what's going in there? What's going in there? They're putting a dollar store in there. We don't need another dollar store. We have a dollar store. They should put a bowling alley. We need a hardware store. And like the couple times I commented, I'm like, that's a great idea. You should buy a piece of property with your money, and you should put a hardware store in there. You, bowling alley person, you have a bowling alley literally 10 minutes from here. And it's only open 1 day a week because you motherfuckers don't go to it. You don't go to the bowling alley, bitch. I don't give a fuck if you have kids that don't have some shit to do. Be a better fucking parent and let their little asses fucking play outside. They got this thing, maybe you've never heard of it. It's called fucking outside. Go fucking to it, little motherfucker. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Your fucking shitty kids aren't my problem. I don't like my kids. I definitely don't fucking like your kids. And a lot of that's theatrics, right? People are like, can I bring my kids? Fuck no, you can't. If you have to ask, you can't bring your kids. Because I have animals here that literally will eat your kids. And if you have to ask me if you can bring your kids, your fucking kids are going to be around my property where you're not at. So no, don't bring your fucking kids. People show up with their kids, and they're amazing. They are fucking amazing. It's the same thing with don't bring your dogs, right? I have shit here that will kill your dogs, and you're going to be very upset when something that lives here kills something you brought that wasn't supposed to be here. And they will kill your shit. Like when your dog gets through a fucking hole in the fence that my dog can't come through, my dogs will kill your animal. And you're going to be upset about it, and I'm going to give you your carcass of your animal and tell you to leave my property. And that always escalates, right? So don't bring your animals here. There was a kid, perfect example, right? Dude showed up here with his kids. And his kids running around. I'm like, where's your dad at? Oh, he's out back, right? So I hear my big dog fucking barking, and he's in a kennel. And the kid's like over there calling the dogs. And I go, hey, don't put your hands through that fence. Well, I'm just seeing the dogs. They like me. I go, do you hear the dog barking up top? I go, if he gets out of that kennel, he will come down here and get you. I go, walk away from the fence. Well, they're not. And I go, I'm not going to have another fucking word with you. Walk the fuck away right now and go to your fucking father. Like, he understood that. But I don't think anybody's ever spoke to him in that manner. Like, just raise your kids. Like, be responsible for your kids. Yeah, it's a big dog, Fat Nuts, isn't it? It's a big fucking animal. Outside, these kids today don't. Yeah, we used to get on BMX bikes, like single speed BMX bikes. And we like, Camelbacks didn't exist. So we'd have an old like Boy Scout canteen or a mason jar with water in it. And we would literally leave as soon as the sun was up. We would leave the house on a weekend and go out in the canyons. And we had what was Camp Elliott. It was an old bombing range. So we would go through Camp Elliott to an old Nike missile base. It would be dark by the time we got home. Like, we would stop at the edge of like housing developments and pull the heads off of sprinklers and suck water out of the pipe to get water. We were drinking water out of fucking ponds out in the canyons and shit, where there was a depression full of frogs and turtles and shit. Never say anything about the type of James stuff. I found you because of James. Yeah, Brian, that's that. Like, I say a lot of things and people take it as though I'm jumping on them. And half the time, I don't even know who made the comments. Huffy bike. So I had a Schwinn Stingray, right? My grandfather was a carpenter, union carpenter, and a terrible alcoholic. And my grandmother babysat us a lot. And we lived in a place called Kearney Mesa. Do you remember when the guy got in the tank and drove through all those houses in that RV? That was one street over from my grandmother's house. So Mom worked at General Dynamics. My parents were divorced by then. Dad was in the Navy, and officer in the Navy. Grandma kept us, right? And my grandfather had two sheds in the backyard that were like clubhouses, like pretty big sheds. Built them, right? And he would go to the dump, and back then in San Diego, you could just drive out to the dump, and people would just leave stuff there, right? Now they're like, oh God, you can't take that broken lawnmower from the dump. You can't, like, God forbid somebody take it and reuse the shit. He would get lawnmowers and bicycles, and he would literally scrape the paint. I remember as a child with a pocket knife whittling paint off of these frames, and then we'd sand it down and he'd paint them, and he would sell these things at the San Diego swap meet, and that was his income. Like, they fucking lived, paid their bills off of that shit, like lawnmowers and bicycles. Dave Miraharo. Yeah, so I have a Haro RS2 right now. I've had Diamondback Viper, Diamondback Sidewinder. I've had a Hutch. I've had Robinson. I've had Redline Series 3. Like, I grew up like Kearney Motor Park and Cactus, and I think Deanza. There was one, like, Cactus was in Lakeside, and like Kearney Motor Park, I'm sure is still there. parent don't put them in their place. They don't. They don't put. Not only do they not put them in their place, they hand them a babysitter, right? So kids don't know how to interact. Like you will literally see people sitting on the same thing, and I'll like walk by to complete strangers. I'm like, you guys texting each other? And they sure as shit, they are fucking literally sitting next to each other, sending each other messages. Like, do you realize like right now, they say that right now in the United States, I think it's over 60% of fucking people that are 30 years old are still virgins, boys, because they're like girls have these dating apps right now, and chicks don't like. Jordan Peterson talks about this all the time. Girls want to fuck alpha dudes. They don't want to fuck the dork, and they don't want to hang out with the dork. So they do these dating apps, and they trade the pussy for a little bit of attention, and they have in their head they think that's going to be their man. But the dudes that are getting all the pussy, they put the time in the gym, they seemingly have something going on in their life, and they run through these chicks like fucking wildfire. They will literally, like, there's shows, Tim Pool had talked about this quite a bit. These dudes will bang like 3-4 different chicks in a day, one time. But it fucks them up. So you have all these dudes who can't fucking compete, and they don't know how, they have no game. They don't know how to walk up and be like, yo, baby, I saw you checking me out. Why don't you fucking call me tonight? I'll tell you where we're going. You're going to have the best time of your life, and tomorrow you're going to call me, and if tonight was good, I'll fucking see you tomorrow, right? They don't know how to walk up to a hot chick and say that. They don't know how to have any conversation. They don't know how to get the phone number from the stranger. They use the app. They have no fucking concept. And I think that's part of the problem, right? Those dudes, those are the useless eaters. Those are the useless eaters. Like, and that's real. That's real. Now you can't give a bike away. Last year I gave a $4,000 Haro. Yeah, I would never do that. I'll light that motherfucker on fire. I didn't read that. I left them in the August, Georgia ghetto next to a BMX track downtown. What happens when they get the implants? Yeah, so that's the thing, right? You have guys right now in Japan they're marrying, literally marrying a virtual girlfriend, like marrying her, ceremony shit, right? So they were talking about that on Tim Pool, and Tim Pool found 7 apps they pulled up, and like you have this virtual sex, you masturbate while she fucking, you're looking and she's on you, whatever, and you're masturbating, right? So you get the release, you get the endorphins, and you get a little reward for it, right? What happens when the app decides, like around election time, you come home and the app's like happy to see you, right? You get home and you jack off with your fucking virtual girlfriend, and like you're wearing all these watches that monitor all your heart rate and everything. You wear these rings and shit. They have convinced you guys that that's for your benefit, right? You don't have to pick up your big phone now. You can just see when that takes your heart rate. It knows when you're asleep, knows when you're masturbating, knows everything about you. That all goes into those algorithms. So your virtual girlfriend, what happens when it's election time, like, man, I just think guys that vote for Joe Biden are so sexy. These guys are programmed, and it's mind control, and they don't even realize that it's happened. You have guys right now, for the last decade, that do these online video games competitions. You have kids that die every year from not eating. They take, for days, they stay up playing these video game competitions, drinking energy drinks. Do you know that there's a ton of energy drinks out there that you don't know exist, and they're all by gamers? Did you know that? I know a gamer. He's got millions of fucking followers on YouTube. He lives in Nashville. I got a buddy that's in his videos all the time. Like, Pierre is boys with this dude. Has all kinds of exotic cars, owns a house that looks like a castle. He makes his money doing Twitch live streams. He's got a YouTube channel, and he has an energy drink line. He's got a couple other things too. And when you watch, I'd heard about all about this dude, right? I watch his videos and I'm like, this is a fat beta goober. Like, this is a dude with man titties, and he literally looks like he shops at Goodwill. Dude's got millions of fucking dollars because little goober kids want to be this dude because he has all the toys, but he doesn't have calluses. He might own G Fuel, Lone Star. Like, I'm not gonna say the dude's name because I'm sitting here talking shit about him, and I know him. But like this is one of the biggest dudes out there. And when you see him, like, this dude has all the fucking money. He could hire, like Jason Statham, he could hire a trainer that comes to his house like, hey, it's time to eat this. Hey, it's time to do some cardio. Like, that dude in 6 months could transform, but he's got titties bigger than his fucking girlfriend. Nephew, 26. And how many kids are like, I'm a professional video gamer? Yeah, open your bank account. How much is in your bank account? How's that going for you? Still no college degree, no motivation. I wouldn't even push college. Like, get a fucking job. Do something. And I don't even care if you get a job. Like, you wanna be a gardener? Fucking start a garden, right? You can take fig trees. I just bought fig trees, little tiny fig trees, right? I paid $30 a piece for them. I bought 6 because that's all I could put. My Forerunner was full. All I could put in there was 6. You can take fig trees and cut 6 inches sticks off the fig tree and put them in dirt and water them, right? Set up a mist system and mist them. And you can take and they'll start growing leaves and they'll grow roots, and you can put them in little pots. And I can make off of cuttings off my tree, I can make 1,000 fig trees, and I guarantee I could sell and at $10, right? I'm going to sell you a fig tree that already has some leaves on it. There are dudes selling cuttings of fig trees for $20 on eBay, and they're sold out all the time. They're on Amazon too. Just look up fig tree. Go to Marketplace, look up fig tree. You'd be hard pressed to find a dude where you could go there locally, buy it, and take it home. They all ship them to you in the mail, so you're going to pay shipping on them also, off of fig tree cuttings. Think they're heroes. Yeah, they all think they're heroes. Addiction to porn. Porn's a real one, right? Addiction to porn is that's very real. When you have access to high performance people, you will see that they do things very, very differently. And they talk a lot of talk about just positive think makes the world, like, if you don't know what a vision board is, like, if you want to have and achieve things, and that's where I was going earlier, and I didn't complete all that. Like, you need to want material, like, I don't know why I keep picking this up. You need to want a jet or a Ferrari, right? Because you will move and motivate and hustle. And the dude with a Ferrari, he don't have that motherfucker sitting in front of an apartment, right? He's bought several properties. Those dudes have things. They need the reward, the chase. Like, they operate from the chase. Once they have the thing, they don't even care about the thing anymore. It's the next thing. All right, guys, I'm off of here. Have a fucking, I would burn the robot. Have a great night, guys. Just use your time, man. Remember, if we're having a conversation about something that you literally can't go pick up right now, if it's not going to be at your door or wake you up in the middle of the night, stop fucking being involved in it.